Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Hey everyone, it is myself and my co-host. We will introduce ourselves to you in just a moment. Well, now, as a matter of fact, I just want to talk about what we are and what we're chatting about a little bit. So, we're Coffee Chats Unfiltered, and we're giving you some nicely brewed experience in life, our experiences, and how we have overcome some of our hurdles and obstacles in life and some tips and tricks that you might want to try. Speaking of tricks, I saw a nice little cute Halloween celebration over the weekend. That was cute for little kids. I saw them dressed up. I don't celebrate Halloween anymore, but back in the day, but the little kids were all dressed up and they were cute. But anyway, I digress. So we are now going to introduce ourselves. Y'all know I have a chatterbox, but we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Cynthia Merritt, and I'm here to bring you some wisdom and knowledge, brewed in conversation and laughter and fun times. And my co-host.
Hey, I am Valerie Davis, and I am here for the same purpose as Cynthia to bring great chatting, great experience, listen to and receive the experiences, and hey, doing it all over a great brewed cup of fresh coffee, y'all. Do you know how much information you can receive and give out when you have your fresh cup of coffee? It's amazing. It's amazing. You can do wonders.
Let me see your cup, Val. What have you got? My
Mine
cup
says,
runs
my cup
over.
runneth
I
over,
love
Psalm
it. I
23
love
5.
it.
Yes,
Okay. And
yes.
mine is my little view cup. Can you see the view, people?
Yes, I like that.
I
Yes.
know.
Cynthia, we have to get cups with our pictures on there.
We do. That would be
Let's
so
go do
nice,
that.
Val. We'll make that happen,
Yeah, let's work
won't
on
we?
that. Yes, yes, we got to.
I love the smell of coffee and the sound of coffee pouring.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so y'all, we're talking today about something. This is really timely because, I heard this. I was at a conference this week, so I was kind of out of pocket, but I did hear a report last night about military people, military members that, because the government shut down right now, military members in uniform in um, food pantry lines that were like circling around the corner
What?
in uniform. Google it. I know I've been hearing it so much. Well, I'm not going to say Google it. I'm going to say check out some of the independent media sites because they've been reporting on it a lot.
Right,
Um,
right.
but yes, so they're having to do that. So hopefully, I did hear another story about a independent businessman who has now donated or contributed 130, I think it's $130 million to keep
Wow.
them military paid. But there is an agenda attached, but because of the people who are in the food pantry lines, because if a lot of military people live paycheck to paycheck
Yes,
with their
ma'am.
families. And so if they miss a paycheck and they're not getting paid, if they miss a paycheck, they might miss some food, honey, and some meals, and that's their
Yes,
children
ma'am.
and everything. So it's good that donor is, contributing that money so that can help them at least stay afloat until they figure out what they're going to do. So, but I said all that to say because right now money really matters. We're back to 3% inflation. 3%
Oof.
inflation, y'all. So
When is it
prices
going
are
to stop?
going up. We've got to be, what do we say all the time, Val? We've got to be nimble. We've got to be nimble with our money.
Nimble.
No extra spending. No, none of all that. And the thing about it is we're coming into the holidays. So we don't want to not enjoy our holiday, but we can't overspend like we usually sometimes do, if you are an overspender for the holidays.
Well, my suggestion with that is, Cynthia, on our next segment, we go through ways that you can still have a great holiday without overspending and
Okay.
overexerting yourself, because that's going to be needed moving right into those holidays. So yeah.
Yes. And actually, we're lined up for one for next week
Hmm.
for Thanksgiving, and then after that,
Hmm.
Christmas. So we can separate the two holidays, but we
Hmm.
can give tips and tricks
Yes,
on how to do it and have a great time so that no one even feels the pinch.
right. That's true. That is so
But
true.
while we're talking about money, so what we want to do today, y'all, is, and this is kind of fun too. You know how people say make it make sense. So we're going to make sense about how you feel about your money and why you feel that way about your money. Because each generation has learned to spend, survive, and save in different ways. So we're
Mhm.
going to talk about, how that is that you came to be with your money and think about your money the way you do. So let me see. We've inherited our stories with money. Val, when did you first understand money in your life?
It's really embarrassing. I mean, it
It's
really
not.
is. I really didn't start to understand money until I was maybe 32, 33.
That's not embarrassing. There's plenty of
Oh,
40s and 50s, honey. There's plenty of
yeah.
40s and 50s. Yes.
Yes.
So
I started
that's
to understand it then, and then I still tried to finagle it and make it fit for me.
okay.
Even though I understood it, but I'm like, oh, well, no, if I do this instead, then I can do this and still spend like this. Mm-mm. When the paper is in front of you, when it's written down, that's when it makes sense. That's
Hmm.
when you got to follow it.
That's true. And those
Yes,
numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. And when you're staring those numbers in the face, it's like,
numbers do
okay.
not lie.
I'll never forget when I did my first real budget with Tiffany Alicia and with Lynn Richardson. Girl, and they had
Yes.
me do that budget. I'm like, I'm spending like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
it didn't surprise me anymore why I was where I was.
Yes.
Exactly. Because when the numbers don't,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
totally get it. I understand. I was right there with you.
Yeah, yep, yep. So I was the same. I was in my 30s, my late 30s,
Hmm.
before I really started understanding because we didn't get those lessons from our parents and our grandparents. And
Hmm.
and to their defense, they didn't get them, so
They
they
didn't get
didn't
it.
know to teach them. So
Hmm.
yeah, but it's important for us to understand that way, that about ourselves,
Right.
and that's why we see money the way we do. So I'm going to talk about what I am. I'm a baby boomer. So baby boomers, we really reflect security and sacrifice. Those
Uh,
are the things that we were always taught. Look for security and then sacrifice. So what we are is respectful and reflective. So
mhm.
those are the things that are personality traits about us. We're respectful, we're respective, and reflective rather. And we lived through the post-war prosperity, and that was rising opportunities. So people started seeing job opportunities and things like that back in the day after the post-war. And then the boomers, for money, they always wanted security and then status earned through loyalty. So they wanted to stay at that job for 30 years and
Yes.
retire and get that gold watch after 30 years of getting up at dark 30, going to work every day. A gold watch.
Oh,
I know.
I wish
But
I
they
don't know. I don't know if I wish for that or not.
I don't, girl, please. But they were loyal to those companies for that time. They loved
Uh-huh.
their job. They were always there, probably never missed a day, hardly. But and so we were always told growing up as baby boomers, the things we wanted to look for in life were to purchase a house. We wanted a house, a home. That was the American dream, purchasing a home, getting a pension from your job, meaning you stayed there and retired after 30 years, and then you always had good credit so you could buy that house. So those are the
Mhm.
things we needed to strive for: a house, a pension from a job, and having good credit. That was our American dream, and that's what we looked
Mhm.
at. So many held that emotional scar, though, from parents who always remembered the Great Depression, and they told you money doesn't grow on trees. There are people in Africa dying of hunger. Eat that last piece of food on your plate and
Mhm.
don't you leave anything. And those are the kind of things we heard from them. And then saving wasn't just a smart decision, it was also moral for
Mhm.
us to save. Now, what the problem was with the saving, when our parents were telling us that, they might have told us we need to save, but they didn't know how to save, because they had us saving our money in this little bank account that wasn't even giving us 1% interest. But we were stacking our money there. Now, had they known, we would
Mhm.
all be millionaires, because they would have told us to put our money in the stock market or
Mhm.
an index fund,
Mhm.
mutual funds, and we would be having that compound interest,
Mhm.
and all of us would be millionaires right now.
Mhm. And
But
and
they
then
didn't know.
they didn't know. And then not even that, not even when they weren't putting the money in their bank account, they were putting it up under the pillow, up
I
under the
know.
mattress, and the sock and the bosom, then put the sock somewhere. So it wasn't even getting 1%. It wasn't getting
I know.
anything.
Any
It was
percent.
just it was just there.
Yeah. And but you know what that represents? That represents that safety and security, because they didn't really trust the banks. So they felt like if I hide it under my mattress, nobody can take it from me, because they felt like the banks might be taking my money.
Right.
Because back in the day, back in the 30s, the banks did shut down. People, all their money went away, and they were like, "Oh my God, don't trust the banks."
Hmm.
So a lot of people were, looking at security and safety, and that's why they did that.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but yeah, that wasn't getting any interest. That was just getting maybe some bed bugs if you had a bad mattress. Child was eating up the money.
Did you just say the bed bugs?
If you had a bad mattress, the bed bugs were eating up the money. They looking under the mattress, the money was gone. Let me stop, girl.
Do not make me. I already told you what's going on with me this morning. Do not make me laugh.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, but that and that's a good point. So a lot of them were putting it under the mattress.
Hmm.
So then retirement. So let's talk about retirement. So a lot of people at this point, because we were talking about staying on the job for 30 days, 30 years, and then getting the gold watch, and then you can retire, and then you would get your little pension account, and then and it might not have been a little account, it might have been good, and
Hmm.
then you would have your social security. So all that was in place for the baby boomers.
Hmm.
But what happened when the retirement dream no longer looked like what it was supposed to look like? And that's where we are now,
Hmm.
because a lot of the retirement dreams are not looking like what we thought they would look like, because we haven't been in those investment accounts and index funds, 401ks, and things like that. So
Hmm.
I will turn it over to you, Miss Val.
Well, honey, let's just go ahead and let's talk about us, Gen X over here, honey. Um, I had to remember what era I fell under, y'all. That's a shame, but I had to remember, so I fall under Gen X, and we're kind of skeptical yet self-reliant. We're grounded, slightly wry. So we witnessed layoffs. Oh my goodness, we witnessed lots of layoffs and recessions and rising cost of living. Things are so much more expensive now than they were 10, 15 years ago. And I have seen and I've been a part of the layoff, so I have witnessed that. So my whole thought process of life and money is totally different. So we learned that no one's coming to save you, so you got to save yourself. So when you know that you have to save yourself, then your mind and your brain start thinking totally different. So now you're going to go into that hustle mode because you got to take care of yourself. Um, and then you also going to go into that multiple job mode. So self-employment and financial independency, those movements gained traction for us because we had to figure out what to do and how to do things. And it's not easy. It wasn't easy. It's not easy. It's still a learning curve. And we talked about that, what we need to do. How are we going to make it? So we're always in survival mode. We're always in hustle mode. But what we also learn with the hustle mode is not only we're out here hustling, but the hustling got to make sense. The money got to make sense. The hustling got to make sense. So if you can't create a hustle if you don't have the money to put towards it to create a hustle. So sometimes you still have to work while you're creating to put that money towards your hustle. So you still have to do those things.
You do, Val.
That you
And you
can.
know what? I'm going to interrupt you right there, right quick, because that's what Tabitha Brown was trying to say to people. Don't
Mhm.
just jump off the cliff and say, I'm going to start my business. You got
Right.
to fund it with your job. So
Gotta
keep a
fund
good
your
job
business.
on the side and fund it with your job. Yeah.
You gotta fund your business. And I have to plug up my laptop before it go dead. I'm sorry. Um, I just noticed that. So you got to fund your business. So in order to do so, I'm gonna have to move around just a second because I got to plug up my
No
laptop
worries.
here.
No
My
worries.
apologies for that.
We don't
Um,
want you to go away. So do
mm-mm.
what you need to do,
We sure
girl.
don't because we got some good conversation going on right here. Whew, just hold your horses, honey. That's part of that
Okay.
Gen X stuff. We sometimes
I
not prepared.
know.
We sometimes not prepared. Um, so, um, so yes, like Cynthia mentioned Tabitha Brown in her statement, you can't just jump out there. And I can tell you that I did that several times, and that's hence why my businesses were not successful because I thought that I can just jump out there. Um, sometimes we say, "Oh, we're just gonna jump out on faith," and that's really true. Jump out on faith, but faith also is understanding. Faith is also discernment to know what to do
Exactly.
and when to do it. All right. Um, so also with us, with our Gen X people here, we're more open to investing. I've
Hmm.
learned a lot about investing within the past couple of years. Sorry, just getting a little winded there. Um, Learned a lot about investing within the past couple of years, which is really good for me. And I was able to um, share what I've learned, but we're still cautious. We're still really cautious, y'all, because even though we're investing, that's our money. Remember, we're slightly rye, we're grounded, but yet we're still a kind of a little nervous about some things. Um, but I tell you this, cash is king. Cash is king, but we also need to always have a backup plan. So cash is king and a backup plan is queen, honey. That's just like your man. He's
Hmm.
holding down the fort, but he also got his woman back there, his helpmeet. So we got we got to make sure that we have a backup plan. So that's how Gen X is maneuvering right now. As my son says, we're adulting.
Okay.
We're adulting. That's how we're adulting out here in this world. So now let's talk about this. Did as Gen X, did we inherit any fear or freedom when it comes to money? When I think about myself, I hold on to the fear of losing my money. I hold
Mm.
on to the fear of losing my money because of how things are at this present day. However, I am a little bit more free with spending my money to get what I need for the future, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
It
Does that
does.
make
It
sense?
does. Hmm.
So I have to prepare myself for later on. I can't just look at things for right now.
Hmm.
So I have to do what I need to do for later in life. Now, I haven't always had that mindset, and I'm sure a lot of Gen X's hasn't always had that mindset because we would just spend, 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 spend. Did you go through that,
Hmm.
Cynthia?
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely, I did. I was just spinning with just like it never wasn't gonna run out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I was. I was just spending money, um, food, going out to eat like it was no tomorrow, um, clothing, just
Close.
buying that didn't need them, didn't need the clothes, didn't need the shoes, didn't need the purses, and was not trying to keep up with the Joneses. It was just something that I wanted.
Exactly.
And I would justify it by saying, oh, well, this is on sale now, I can get it.
Mm.
Oh, it may have been $389 then, but now it's $199. Let me go ahead and get it.
So it
Something
makes
like that.
sense.
So, make it make sense in my way. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, still have that little fear, but yet the freedom now to just place that money elsewhere for later in life. So, and then you think about how do you balance saving with living?
Mm. That's big.
Now I gotta say, that's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really hard for me right now, and I can only speak for me. I can't speak for others. It's really hard for me right now at this moment because things are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of living is expensive. Housing is expensive. Car insurance has gone up. Look, car insurance has gone up $1 million. So you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
save, like we're saying, to save for the future, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a little stressful, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to pick and choose. You
Yep.
have to pick and choose. And I'm not too sure about other people, but what I do on a monthly basis, not on a quarterly basis, but on a monthly basis, I pick and choose what's most important, and I go in order 1 through 5. And
Okay.
I do I pay what's important that way. And then what I try to do is I get paid bi-weekly, so I try my very best to put 35% of my paycheck into savings
Mm-hmm.
every two
Mm-hmm.
weeks. That's what I
Okay.
try to do.
Okay.
However,
And you have a 401k too,
and
right?
yes, and I
Okay.
have, yeah, and I doubled that with my
Okay.
401k.
Okay.
So
Good.
just finding ways that I can always have. Um, so with things happening, gotten into a car accident, got to get another car,
Mm.
things like that. So then when you're trying to save and you have to go and pinch from that, then that becomes a little stressful. But because I am in that Gen X era, I've learned to be more self-reliant.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so that's a big, big push for us Gen X. We're skeptical, and yet I'm more than sure and hopeful that more of us we err on the side of being self-reliant to keep pushing, keep
Mm-hmm.
moving as we continue to go. So that's
Absolutely.
it.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome for the Gen X's. And two things I wanted to say about the insurance.
Mhm.
It's going up in every aspect. I have, because we don't think about this that much. We think about our health insurance and our car insurance,
Yes.
and renters or homeowners insurance is big too, because I'm a
Yes.
realtor. The last two houses I closed, that when it was almost time for closing,
Hmm.
their lender came back to me and said, um, their homeowners insurance is too high. They're not going to qualify for the loan if they can't get that insurance down. And then you think, I'm not in control of that. So then, but the great, and this is what's so good about having a network. I had them call all these different insurance companies that I work with, and they
Hmm.
were able to get a rate that would able give them the ability to get the loan because
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
low enough. But that
Yeah.
stuff is stopping people from being able to buy a house,
Buy a
y'all.
house.
The insurance.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
crazy, crazy,
That is
crazy.
crazy. And I hate those things are happening, but that's just like we're saying, things are are getting higher. The cost of living is higher and higher and higher, but
Yeah.
we still have to live. So we gotta get through it.
Yes, yes, but it's actually all the cost of living rising, and with inflation back up to 3% now, it's just making it so unaffordable and unattainable for so many of
Mhm.
the young people to buy a home now.
You're right.
But with getting into another segment, that's the millennials, and now both of our children
Our
are groups,
millennials.
children are millennials,
Yes.
so they live with the motto purpose over possessions.
Yes.
They look at their purpose in life rather
Hmm.
than stacking up all these things and the stuff on sale and the furniture and the clothes,
Yes.
all this. So their tone is that they're empathetic and they're curious. I love
Very,
that about them, don't
very, yes.
you?
Hmm.
But the sad thing about that is that the millennials are born into debt and disruption. And
Hmm.
that's not their fault. They just were born into that era. Most of them who went to college have student loans.
Yep.
That's sad.
Hmm.
With the 2008 market crash, that hit, and then that's affecting them with what we had with the real estate and everything, how all the market housing costs,
Hmm.
with the fraudulent loans. And I remember that thing unfolding because I was right
Yeah.
in real estate and I saw a lot of that stuff happening
Jesus
firsthand.
Christ.
It was crazy. I mean, loans were getting, I was actually working for a new home builder.
Hmm.
And they hired us and we went through training. I quit after 2 weeks because we went through training and they wanted us to sell people on these LIBOR loans. The LIBOR loans were interest only. So they were going to be paying interest only for the first 3 to 7 years of their mortgage payment.
Oh my God. You kidding me?
So the payments were extremely low. I mean, sometimes the payments could have been like $400 a month. But if they didn't read the fine print, after the 3 years or the 7 years, the payment balloons and the whole loan becomes due. So
Mm.
that's when you saw the foreclosure
Yes.
skyrocket. And that's my dryer, y'all. Sorry, it's telling me it's almost time to close out. But anyway, so yeah, and then that's when and then so many people were foreclosed because they didn't understand the LIBOR loan. And it made me mad when I was working for that builder and they wanted us to say these homes were, and this is back in like 2006.
Hmm.
These homes, Val, were 300 to $600,000.
Sheesh.
And you know who we were selling to? They
Us.
were brand new homes that to people who were making, I promise you, 15, $20,000 a year. I'm like,
Mm.
how is somebody making that kind of money going to be able to live in this $300 to $500,000 home?
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, don't
Yes. And I remember that time because I was working
you?
for a mortgage company out of in Conyers, Georgia, and I could not
Okay.
believe what we were doing. Yes.
Oh, and I said nope, and so I quit. I said I can't do that. I'm not gonna set somebody up to fail like that.
Hmm.
But I know a lot of realtors that were working for them that made tons of money
Right,
in
right.
those subdivisions because they were putting them under contract, and for three to 7 years they were good to go. But after that, that whole mortgage was due, and they
Hmm.
didn't have that money.
Right, right.
So
Hmm.
anyway. Okay.
Oof.
So I know. So, but anyway, they the high housing costs that we're experiencing now is just making it really not attainable for them to buy. And in some cases, y'all, rents are so high right now. And and that's just adding to the cost, your monthly expenses. And
Hmm.
so if you're having to pay so much, and now that the utilities are going up. We just got a memo about Georgia Power, email about Georgia Power rates going to go up, and we had to
Oh
vote
God.
on our last election. I voted last week
Hmm.
for the Public Service Commission. Representatives, so they can
Right.
hopefully bring that down or keep it down anyway. But yeah, so that's just something that the millennials are really experiencing and
A
having to
lot.
deal with.
It's really hard for them right now. Like you mentioned, that rent. If they don't have the capability to purchase a home, but you still got to have somewhere to live and you're trying to rent somewhere, even if it's an apartment in a decent
Yes,
area, and you're looking at maybe a
yes.
one-bedroom apartment, $2,200, and if you're not making that money to do so,
Hmm.
what's going to happen? And
Exactly.
then if you're right at the cusp of it to make that amount to rent that apartment, and if something happens, um, forbid, like something may happen to your car or you
Hmm.
get laid off from work, something like that, then what are you going to do?
Right.
So they have it really, really, really hard right now. They have it really bad. So it's very important for them to figure out ways to save money.
Mhm.
It's very important for them to figure out if I got a full-time job, I may need to have a part-time. Nobody likes to hear it. Nobody really wants to do it. But until things get better, that's like that's the position that they're in.
Yes, yes, yes.
Our position.
And the thing about that is now that we're coming upon the holiday season and we're going to
Mm,
be having these gatherings, family gatherings, these
hmm
are great dinner time conversations for the family to sit around and say,
hmm
"Hey, you know what? You know, everybody, let me just tell you about some different side hustles that you can
hmm
get for streams of income because
hmm
everybody's going to need some help, you know, during this time of inflation now that we're
Right.
coming we're at 3%, it's probably going to go up a little bit more. And so that's just something we got to empower each other with this
Yeah.
knowledge that we're gaining and not only just the knowledge, but solutions to the
hmm
issues, you know. And so bring those things, whatever's working for you, share it with your
Yeah.
family so
hmm
that we all can be successful together. So another thing that millennials do is they value flexibility and experiences more than job titles. I mean, I know
That's so true.
these young folks don't care about being senior representative of X, you know, or VP over whatever. They're like, give me this experience and expertise, and I'll go out here and start my own company. You don't have to make
God.
me VP over whatever. I'll be the CEO of my company.
Exactly. That is their mind frame
I
for
love it.
real.
I love it.
Oh my God. But the managers and vice presidents of these companies don't understand their thought process. They're having a
Yeah,
hard time
right.
understanding it.
Yeah.
I was in the process at my job of creating a training for our team because we had this is the first time that we have all of them together, Gen X, millennials, baby boomers got us all in there together, and you got to know um, how to work with each other, you know, and it is so difficult. It is so different. Uh-oh. Are you guys still there? Uh-oh. All right, Cynthia has frozen for a second, but um she should be back on in just 1 second. But it's crucial now that everyone knows how to work for each other, work with each other. And it's crucial that you understand each other. And the only way that you're going to understand each other is to know how each other's thinking. We got these different age ranges, these different groups, and we're trying to make sure that hey, like I said, we all working together. We have our baby boomers. And then we have our Gen X. Remember, we're skeptical and self-reliant though, guys. And then we have our millennials, and they're thinking about their purpose over possessions. And then, then we're gonna have our Gen X coming up. So it's a lot of different personalities that will be working together. So you got to know how to work with each other. So yeah, y'all coming in fresh. Hey, give me my skill, give me my skill set. I'm gonna give you what you asked me, what you hired me for. I'm gonna do what you asked me to do, but at the same time, um, I know what I got in the back of my mind. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So yes, so for our millennials, they value flexibility and experience more than job titles, guys. So that is a plus, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Um, it's changing the trajectory of modern day workmanship, and that's fine. And then also when it comes to money, so to our millennials, money equals mental peace plus autonomy, not image. They're not caring about all that. They're not thinking about the image. They're not thinking about those things, so we're just continuing to um they're they value their peace. If you guys remember, Cynthia was stating, and she should be back on in just a second. Um Cynthia was stating how the baby boomers, how they will work those 30 years so they can get that watch at the end of retirement and get their pension, maybe a good pension or maybe not a good pension, but they sacrificed their peace so that they could have that 30 years there. Millennials, money, mental peace plus autonomy equals money. You're not going to get on their nerves. They're not going to allow you to get on their nerves. You know, so yeah, so there's just a lot of different things that our millennials are based upon than what we are. Okay. So let's see here. Before I continue to talk, let me go ahead and see if we can get Cynthia back in the chat room. Just give me 1 second here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me see where she is because I don't want her to miss this valuable information. I want her to finish discussing. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So until Cynthia gets back, I'm going to go on and keep discussing our millennials and what. Remember, we said that millennials purpose over possessions, right? All right. So they're seen as millennials are also seen as financially fragile by the older generations. That will be the baby boomers and the Gen X. But they're redefining success because they're thinking of it in a different way. Their movement is different than how we are. They are more self-sufficient and self-reliant. So that is a good thing. Let me just see if I'm sorry, having to move around to see if Cynthia's trying to get in touch with me. And there she is. There she is. There she is. Miss Cynthia, can you hear us?
I can. I got kicked out of the meeting, y'all. It
I
said
know.
I know it came up and it said, your computer needs to restart. So, no.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me tell you what I did until you got back. I did touch upon um, I went through just a little bit of flexibility and talked a little bit about money, the mental peace plus autonomy equals money. And then I was at the point where I was speaking of the financial, how Gen Z is I'm sorry, millennials are financially fragile. But I would love for you to put your tidbits in because I know you have some great things to tell the audience. So go for it, please.
I know. I'm trying to get my thing now. But anyway, so I'm discombobulated. So I don't even have my points up now. Let me see
Okay.
where my document is. Val, I'm gonna let you take over right now.
Okay. Not a problem, not a problem. We're still speaking on our wonderful millennials, honey. Because look, see, y'all deserve. You see that? Look how God worked it out. Just give y'all a little more time because y'all know y'all are just as awesome as ever. Um, you deserve. You are coming through. You have come through these tough times, and you are delivering new ways of doing things here again. Um, your the way that the older generation may see you may be a bit different, but you're redefining success. That is a plus, guys. And that's changing the trajectory, as I stated earlier. And you hear Cynthia and I say that a lot. So when you think about it, is the idea of settling down, is it even realistic anymore when it comes to our millennials? Is
Okay.
that idea realistic? Is it something that's doable? Is it something that's wanted, that's needed when it comes to settling down, right? So in my mind, I say yes. How does the millennials view it? What do you think, Cynthia?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna beg to differ with you.
Well, yes, yes. I
But you
said,
know
how do you?
what? And yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've talked to a few of them. You
Mhm,
know what? And I have talked to a few millennials, and this has concerned me. It really does,
mhm,
because I don't like for them to have to go through life with this in their mind. Um, I have talked to a few millennials that have said my biggest fear is that I will end up homeless.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's a big fear to carry around. Why is this stuff doing this? I hope it doesn't go off again. But yeah, that's a big fear for them to carry around, and I don't like that for them. Um, I know millennials right now who, have started families, and I want this to be a good time for them, because that's some of the best times that you'll have is when you're raising your family and your
Yes.
children are young, you're having
Yes.
fun and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to be optimistic and not pessimistic about the state of the economy and the world and everything. So, yeah, I'm just hoping that we can help shift the mindset of those who are going into that, not believing that this is something that's going to be attainable for them,
Mm-hmm.
and with that fear of being homeless. That's a big fear.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and then what I do know is that we can learn a lot from these millennials. Definitely baby boomers and Gen Xers. We can learn a lot from them because they are so focused on their abilities and their experience, and using their transferable skills to
Mm-hmm.
position themselves better in life, and not looking for that good job or good government job, how they used to say, get you a good job or whatever. But they get out here and create their own way. And
Mm-hmm.
many of them have become self-made millionaires. I love that,
Mm-hmm.
watching these millennials do that. And and Gen Xers too. There have been some baby boomers who have done it as well, but
Mm-hmm.
not as many as the Gen X, and definitely the millennials. We have so
Millennials,
many
yeah.
millennial. You know what? There were so many millionaires who are millennials made during the pandemic,
Yes, yeah.
because we had all that time at home and
Mm-hmm.
we were creating stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
and when people see, one thing about millennials is when they see a need for something, they will try to fix it,
Oh yeah.
and hence their business.
They're gonna create it. Yep. They're gonna create a
Yes.
solution.
Yes.
They're gonna create a solution. I love
Hmm.
that. I love that about them.
Me too. Me
You know,
too.
they're doing something new.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those Gen Xers are something. I mean, those millennials. Well, y'all Gen
Millennials or something.
Xers are too, though. There's
Yeah.
something. But the Gen Zs,
Woo, the Gen Zs now, they are thought to be known to be transparent and transactional. So
mm-hmm,
they're here again, they're more lively, amused, and they are impressed and they are
mm-hmm,
impressive. So when it comes to how they are maneuvering through the world and learning things and getting information out there, their financial literacy through social media, they crowdsource advice and call out bad money habits. Girl, they don't have a in their bone. They don't have a silencer at all.
yep, not at all.
So they're telling you what's
Mm-mm.
right, what's wrong, how they feel about it, how it can be changed, and why it will work their way from their way of thinking, their perspective. They're telling you these things, and
Yep.
it's new and it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And
It is.
even as I'm a what am I again? What am I again? A
You're
millennial?
Gen X.
I'm a
You're
Gen
Gen
X.
X.
Y'all see, I keep
Mm-hmm.
forgetting where I am. I'm trying to make myself be a Gen Z. But even as a Gen X, I love learning from the millennials and Gen Zs. I love they have so much to offer.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, but we gotta remember that and listen to them and not always think that, oh, okay, well, they're just young, they don't know this, or they don't want to listen to us. Well, they have a new way of doing things.
Yes,
Right.
and I actually believe the way they are doing things is better.
Better. So do I. It's
We
easy.
can learn so much from the
Yes.
we were misguided. I feel like
Mhm.
we were misled when we were told things like get the good job and stay for 30
Mhm.
years and
Yeah.
just work like a workhorse
Yeah.
until you drop dead.
We were taught to take the long way around.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's okay when the shortcuts are beneficial and you're still in order, still in
absolutely.
decency and in order. So it's still working. So so for our Gen X, they have less trust in corporations, more belief in creators and self-branding. When you look at your social media platforms, what does it say? Content creator,
Hmm.
so branding. This is what they're doing,
Hmm.
and when you look at those followers, and I don't know if
Yes.
you ever take your time to look at them. I take my time and look at the followers, and I'm looking at the pictures, and I'm like, okay, well, this is someone that's in my age range, or this is someone.
Hmm.
They have a plethora. It's like a mixed group that they're teaching. So
Hmm.
that means that the baby boomers and the Gen X's are open to
Yes, it's
understand and listening.
relatable.
It
Yeah.
is because they make it easy that way. They
Yes.
make it easy that way. Um, they want passive income,
Hmm.
digital ownership, honey. If they create it, they know about it, they understand it, they want to own it. It's for them. They're not trying to let you take over it. And mental health along with their paycheck. Mental health is number one.
Hmm.
Number one. They as I said earlier when you were trying to get back on,
Hmm.
I made the statement that the millennials and also with Gen Z, they really value their mental health. They
Hmm.
are not going to allow a job or people stress them to the point where they don't know whether they're coming or going.
Okay.
I love that.
I do too. I
I
do too.
love that. They know that it's more important. So so
Mm.
they're protecting their mental
Peace.
health. And
Yeah.
yeah, and look, and you're gonna give them their paycheck. You're gonna give them their money.
Oh,
Give
absolutely.
give me my
Absolutely.
money, honey. I just gave you
Hmm.
something great to work with, so I need you
Right.
to pay me. And I want you to pay me for what I'm worth.
Hmm.
No, you're not going to give me pennies when you
No.
know what I know my worth.
And
And
and I'm glad for that. I'm sorry, Val, I didn't mean to
no,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off.
Mhm.
But they what are we talking about? Gen Z, Gen
Gen
Z.
Z. Hmm.
Gen Zs, they have no problem asking for the amount of money they consider themselves to be worth. And we have to condition our mind. Is this too much? Is this going to be okay? They're like, I 200,000.
Hmm. And then this one I like to see them in action. They push over that paper. This is why I'm
Mm-hmm.
200,000.
Absolutely. And
I've
they have
done
it
this.
ready to just spit out just like that. And
Yes.
see, we can learn so much from that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They putting those numbers on those percentages on
Yes.
how much they've
Yes.
shown or grown or taught something. Girl, I love it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, 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 yes. So, honey,
Exactly.
they are ready for it. So you have to, they are smarter about their money.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. I
But
love
would you
that.
consider them being smarter or they're just more anxious?
Both.
Both. Mm-hmm.
Both because they're well informed about the
Hmm.
money and what they deserve, and then they're anxious to get started and bring their what they have to offer, their talents and their gifts to the company so
Hmm.
that they can add another notch on their resume. And I
Right.
gave to this company, I gave these results and I increased
Hmm.
their sales and their volume by this amount, and it's
Hmm.
proven, you know. And
Right,
that
right,
shows. Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah, so it is I gotta agree with you. It is both. Yeah, I do agree
Hmm.
with that. And then I
Hmm.
also think about when it comes to us baby boomers and Gen X,
Hmm.
how do we mentor our Gen Z individuals without sounding out of touch? How do we, how is it we make our experience relatable
To
to and
them.
for them? Hmm.
Okay. So, and that's a wonderful question. I love that question because of where we come from. Like for me, I'm a baby boomer.
Hmm.
And remember, I said that we are respectful, and we think about what I have to offer to a one of the things, or some of the things
Hmm.
I have to offer to a Gen Zer is some common sense, some respectability, because a lot
Hmm.
of Gen Zers now, I look at a lot of them, honey, they don't have no manners. I said, what happened to the home training, honey?
They're
But
smart. They know how to make
yes,
money, but they don't know how
I
to
know,
talk
but
to
they don't, I
people.
know exactly.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the excuse me's when they walk in front of you, it's like, really? So that doesn't even feel not right? And stuff like that.
You
Yeah.
know what, Cynthia? The next time one of them says auntie to me, I'm going to say, excuse me,
I
I am
know.
Miss Davis. If you do
Yes.
not know my name, then say
Right.
Miss.
Right. And the auntie is the new word for old lady. I said,
Ow.
okay. But yeah, so but I think we have a whole lot to offer them. They don't know a lot about relationships with
Mm-mm,
each other. And
mm-mm,
we know more about that because we dealt with that for
mm-hmm,
longer.
mm-hmm.
And, we didn't know when we first got into it. But a
Yeah.
lot of them, yeah, a lot of them don't know because they're so digital.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Everybody's behind the screen,
That's true.
they don't really meet and don't know how. So many Gen Zers prefer, and these are loan officers even that I deal with if they're in their 20s, prefer to communicate via
The
text.
text. I was just about to say that. Teach them how to have pertinent conversations
Pick up the phone.
verbally.
Yeah.
Verbally. Everything wants to be
Yeah.
done through text, not even email. Text, I'm like,
Text.
that's so
I know.
so what is it, misinforming to me. I don't
Yes.
know your tone when you text me,
Exactly.
and you can misread or misguide, I can't.
Hmm.
I need you to have a verbal conversation with me. And
Yes.
if you don't know what that means, I'm explaining to you. I need for you to open your mouth, let words come out, and I hear you. And I will open my mouth, allow words to come out, and you hear me. That's what it
Hmm.
means. It's like
Hmm.
you have to break it down to them.
And
And then,
that's how we can guide them, Val,
mhm,
and
mhm,
mentor them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then writing, responding
Yes.
properly.
Yes.
If you're gonna text me, please let's have me some complete sentences and proper grammar.
And never is there a period at the end of the sentence. I'm like, okay, Cynthia, you're not in school with your English minor in college.
But that is a way that
But
can
but
help.
that's disrespectful to the English language. I know. So these are ways we can mentor them. I know that's funny. But so we're just talking about these generations and how we feel safe with our money thoughts, guys, and our money actions. And this is why we act this way because of our generations and what we were brought up with and how
Mhm.
we, have come to be, from pensions to PayPal. Because we
Yes.
were back in the pension day with my generation, and PayPal now is what people are using to pay for everything.
Hmm.
And I'm
PayPal,
like,
Cash App, you
yes,
know.
that's so
Mhm.
funny.
And
Yes,
and then you
yes,
have
yes.
some baby boomers who refuse to get
To
on that
use
train.
any of
It's like, oh
those. They're
no.
like, oh
Mm-mm.
no, I don't trust any of that. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I know baby boomers who still mail their bills.
Yes, so do I.
Do you really?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do. And
people.
go, yes, ma'am, I do.
Mhm.
Go right into the bank to do
Mhm.
all their business, to do everything.
Banking.
Baby, I'm engaged to one, so yes, ma'am, I know.
Okay,
Big
and
thing,
I
big
can't
thing.
I can't even remember the last time I actually went into the bank.
Girl.
I know.
I'm
That's
like, we're going where?
funny. I
Like,
know.
what?
Right. And if you're engaged to one, that's going to be something you're going to have to really get used to. Yeah.
I'm trying to change the trajectory of that. That's what I'm
Hmm.
in the process of
Hmm.
doing. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's
So
hard.
I know. So money can definitely help shape our choices, but
Mhm.
how we're going to deal with that is going to be shown by our values. And just think about what one money lesson your generation may have taught you and
Mhm.
how you can unlearn that if it's not being
Mhm.
productive for you. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
a thought.
that's
That's some
that's
thought
some
we can think about.
that's some thoughtful things right there. And there's a lot of things that
Mhm.
I had to unlearn, still
Yes,
unlearn. Yeah,
yes, yes. So
because some things that worked in 1980 doesn't work now. Some things that worked in 2005 doesn't work now.
a lot,
So you
a
most
lot.
definitely got to be um ahead of the curve and be okay with changing the way you do things, changing the way that you receive information. Um, just be okay with it and can't just say,
Yeah,
well, this is how I always done it. Well, times are changing and you have to change with it. And I said that to someone the other day. I said it's in the Bible somewhere. I can't remember the verse,
okay,
but it talks
okay.
about that.
Yes.
We're going to be forced to change with it.
Mhm.
So, so we have to change.
We
We
have
can
to
do the same
change.
thing.
Yeah.
And then also, Cynthia, just to say this as well, even with us as humans in our thought process, how we do things, how we say things, um, the way I thought of certain issues 5 years ago and not the way that I think of those issues now. So the way that I
Hmm.
handle them are differently.
Yes.
So that goes to show there's growth and change within you as an individual. So why on earth would you not think there will be growth and change with the world,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. That is so
Yeah.
true, Val. Yes. We got to change with it and
Hmm.
be open-minded so we
Hmm.
can receive the change and change with it and thrive
Hmm.
and take our families and friends with us.
That's right.
Okay, and regardless of their generation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, guys, great conversation. Great. Cheers. Coffee mugs up.
My
Woo!
my my mug is over on the other side since I had to move my laptop.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
right. So
But
I'll
here you
drink for
go.
you too. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
stopping by, everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone. Val, do you have a word for us today?
Yes, I do. I'm going to look back. It's over here. So it says,
Okay.
when life gets too hard to
Mm.
stand, then you kneel. When life
Oh,
gets too hard to stand, then you kneel. That means you fall on your knees and you
great.
pray and you ask God to continue to help you along your way. All
Hmm.
right.
I
So
love
if
that.
this is a whole new era right here that we've been speaking of. It's a lot of change that's going on, and we have to know how to preserve our money, save our money, know where to put our money, um,
Hmm.
and why we're doing so. So when we get a little weary and we're tired of standing trying to figure it out, just go
Hmm.
ahead and give it to God, kneel in
All
prayer.
on your knees.
That's it, and He's got
Come
you
on.
every step of the way.
Every step of the way. I love it. I love it.
Ma'am.
Thank you so much. Guys, thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. And we will talk with you next time. Have a great day.
Good day.
Bye.
Bye.